Can you, we're live.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. It is your November 10th edition.
Yeah, and it is great. I'm going to try and get everybody on.
It's been snowing forever over here where we are.
Over here in Edmonton, it is a snowy wonderland.
The Edmonton Public Library went viral this week. We're going to talk about that. Did you see?
What was this on there?
No.
What?
The Edmonton Public Library went viral.
It went viral?
This week, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh, Edmonton Public Library went viral.
This week.
With COVID. No? Not COVID?
No.
Sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
Oh, man. Almost there.
Thank you for joining us, as you do every week.
Who's on there? Who's all out there?
I don't think anybody yet. One person.
One person.
Two. If I guess, it's Darren. Darren Hall.
Is it Darren?
I bet you it is.
Let's find out who could it be.
It's Tanya. Hey, Tanya.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin.
Caitlin's out there. Caitlin's in the house. Okay, let's see where we're at. Let's try sending this to Mama. I remember Mama and the old greasy bag.
An old greasy bag?
We didn't have much, but it was more than others had.
Hey, Glenn! Glenn's here. Glenn is my diaspora Guyanese countryman.
Okay.
Diasporic, I don't know how we call it.
All right, Glenn, all right.
There's a bunch of us that are just foreign who are like, yeah, we're going to do something.
I think my auntie's on right now,
we
too.
just don't know what to do yet. Hi, Auntie.
Auntie Teresa's out in the house.
We haven't seen her on in a little bit.
No, it's been a minute. Live, yeah.
She watches, I think, when she wakes up in the morning.
Welcome and good night. Actually, it should be good morning. I think they're 9 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So that puts her right around 9, 7, 16, 4 o'clock in the morning. Wow, okay.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, wow.
So, how was your last week?
Uncle Clive is good. Hey, Uncle Clive, how you doing? Last week was pretty okay.
Okay. What happened? What'd you do?
Last week, I'm back on the soccer tip. So those of you who don't realize it or didn't know, I am back coaching indoor soccer for my son Naraya's team. I'm only doing one team this year. My other son actually joined J.D. Bracco's school, which is a soccer school.
So soccer's like part of his curriculum now.
Well, what it is all the team, his entire team goes to every class with him. So when he has math, it's math with the team. When he has science, it's science with the team. And the team...
That's something.
And they're all the same age, right? So they're all going from one to the next, right? And they all...
Is it a boys' school or is it co-ed?
It's a co-ed school.
Is the team also co-ed?
Nope.
So he's just with the boys only?
He's with the soccer too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is...
It's cool.
Quite groovy. So the problem is in this COVID season, if one of them gets COVID, they all are out. Right?
Oh, everybody's out.
The whole team is.
That is the case, though.
It would have been down anyways. It would have been down
these days.
So I had my first game with Nariah and his team. Apparently, we got switched districts, so we used to be part of the Steel Heights Tigers. So for his whole soccer career, except for 1 year, his very first year, he was with another team. And then for the rest of the soccer career, he was with the Steel Heights Tigers. But due to a clash with the other football club, EMSA, the Steel Heights community decided to leave, along with McLeod and Hairsign and a bunch of other groups. They formed their own soccer league called the Grassroots, and it allows you to have full playing time, and it's half the price, and we get full soccer arenas to practice in, plus we get the arenas to play in. Whereas when we're with the community league and with EMSA, you can only go in a junior high gym. So one of those like little tiny half gyms.
The small ones, okay.
And then there's bleachers there, and parents are getting hit in the face, and people are getting hit in the face because it's just, it's you're not playing. And then when you get on the field, most of the children forget how to, because in indoor soccer, it's mainly because we have such brutal winters. So we have indoor soccer, and then you're allowed to kick it off the side wall and bounce it off. Deflect it. So a lot of the kids forget that they can bounce it off the walls.
Oh, okay.
And so when you're practicing in a gym and there's chairs over here, of course you're not going to bounce off the chairs.
Right.
You're not going to do this stuff. So when they get onto the field, they forget this and it becomes an issue. Whereas this is good. So we had this really great game that we had. It was perfect. We had all types of different shapes and sizes of children. We had just the amount that you need, which is like 7. So you need a goalie, and then, there's 6 on the field, and then we had an extra, which was 7.
Yeah.
So we had one guy that could swap off, and the rest of the team is getting tired, because they're playing for like an hour, and they have half an hour. So Nariah, he was playing goalie before. He decided to start off this season playing goalie for the first half of the game, and then the second half he wanted to go as forward. And he's there playing goalie, and he let 1 in.
Right.
But the score was 2-1, so nobody was really
sweating it.
It was good.
No big deal.
So this one kid here, I call him the Hansel and Gretel. He reminds me. He's like, oh yeah, I play keeper. It's good, yeah. It's good. It's nice, yeah. And he's playing it, and he's a little bit of a robust kind of kid, yeah. Rotund.
He sounds rotund in your voice reconstruction.
And the ball was coming towards him, and Nariah deflected the ball and slowed it down. So the ball was literally creeping towards him so slowly for his legs, and he bent down to stop the ball with his hands, and the ball went right through his hands and right through his legs into the net. All the kids are like, no!
That's terrible.
They were so bad. They're like, no, I can't believe it.
You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah. Well, it's about coaching. So that was the first game of the season. We know that happened.
You got to see where you're at. That's like the ground level. You're like, okay.
Similar thing happened to Nashana.
Yeah.
My oldest boy, his first game, he booted that ball. He saved the ball, and then he was so excited he wanted to boot it out, and then he booted and curled the ball back right into the net and scored on himself.
Oh no!
And the same thing kind of happened. So it's just about training and having practice. So it was pretty good.
Okay.
How was your week?
I'm trying to dig deep. It was fine. We have a lot of things going on. November generally is like a super moody month for me, and I always have to come in with the little pieces of astrology that I read. So just it is my birth month, but also I've had some like tragedy this month in the past, so it's always, and I think maybe with the change in weather, it's always a very slow month for me. But I've been having conversations. I have a couple clients who are nurses and doctors and what have you, and my nurse friend thinks that my hemoglobin is low. She was like, yeah, it's something that happens, like we get tired and then we might get a little bit like foggy and then and then come to find out our hemoglobin's super low. So there was a young lady in, and I was talking to her about it as well, and she was like, yeah, she's been on like iron drips and all that stuff, so I gotta go get my iron checked and my vitamin D and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like, did we have anything happening last week? We sure did. I think if you are on our Patreon, the new Melanistic magazine is out. The digital version.
Digital version of the Melanistic for all you Patreon supporters is out there.
Yeah.
Get on the Patreon. Go to melanisticmagazine.com.
And
sign up.
If you are on the Patreon, you will be receiving the complete Melanistic magazine package, and then for those of the higher pledges, you'll also be receiving your hoodie, your Melanistic hoodies.
Yeah, you're gonna get 4 issues of the magazine. You're gonna see all 4 issues, straight cut, straight for the printer, straight for you. Yeah. Then we got you these bomb hoodies that are coming out. They're gonna be amazing. Yeah. So you can get them. So you put in your size, you put in the thing, we send it to you. You get this. This is for you. This is your thing. This is you.
And then I met with Bobby T, who's gonna be working with me on Harriet 2, the Harriet Humongous Hair follow-up, and also the Harriet 2 coloring book, which will be coming out at the same time.
Nice.
So we had that meeting, and that is coming out the same time as the Afro Lux line at Aphrodisiac. So our friend Alicia has definitely been like grinding away and making it happen.
Just so you know, the Afro Lux line is a specific line dedicated.
No, it can't be that one. It's Afro Lux, so it has to be your most Nigerian royal or royal Ghanaian or royal Kenyan or whomever. But go now. We had to read. Well, every time we gotta decolonize, so it's important. The butter is soft. It will make your skin glow.
Glow, eh? Luxo.
So the Afro Lux line is definitely a line of crafted butters and crafted oils. All the oils are infused ahead of time. We have fancy butters in there as well. We have a creme de bain, which is this whipped soap, 3-in-1 pretty much. You can shave with it, you can soap up with it, and you can also shampoo with it. And we have some soaps coming out.
This stuff is luxurious. There's a balm that's out there, and everything balm. Yeah. And this balm is amazing. So we have this on the Aphrodisiac. It's almost holiday time, and during holiday time we tend to show that we love somebody and that we're thinking of somebody through giving. So give to the Aphrodisiac brand. Go online, order it for a friend, get it gifted to somebody. Go out and get that. This luxury line is awesome because it's perfect. It's all very natural and very beautiful stuff, and the scents are rich inside there, so you're gonna enjoy every bit of it.
Yeah. So the Afro Lux line, I believe it will be out with the new website on November 17th. I think that's the date that they have been goaling for. And then obviously we have the Aphrodisiac Market upcoming, which is November 29th. So the brand is strong. The brand is good. To steal a phrase from Jesus and Mero, one of my favorites.
But honestly,
yeah,
it is wonderful to see what's happening with the brand and what's happening with Aphrodisiac Market coming up on November 29th.
Yeah.
To put this all in perspective, we're hoping to have Bliss Band out there.
Will be performing.
Bliss Band will be doing a good set. You gotta show up. Everybody show up and show out. Mm-hmm. Yes, it gets cold, but inside where we are, it'll be warm and toasty. We'll have all the gifts. This is the Buy Black weekend, right? So you have Black Monday, you have Black Sunday, you have Black Saturday, you have Black everything, black,
all black, everything.
Yeah, everything.
All black,
it's all black.
Yeah.
Big black, biggity black. You know. So this is where we're gonna go. Shout out to, I see my niece on here, Cree's on the line, and Darren Jordan showed up too.
Hi, Mr. Jordan.
So what's up, DJ? Just to bring you perspective from last week, a recap from last week. Last week, Nilo and I had tried out one of our Jamaican friends, Greg Davis, loyal follower of the podcast and a loyal friend, a loyal watcher. He is definitely a techie part of the Multiverse, and he created this sorrel here. As you can see, he put it into this wonderful bottle. That says Pink Moscato California on it.
We had a really funny moment because Nigel was explaining this to a couple of the other people who work with us. So he shows them, and one of the ladies is like, "Oh, that looks dark for a Pink Moscato." Immediately she knew what was going on.
Yeah, so
that is dark for Pink Moscato.
They were excited to taste it. One of the ladies was like, "Oh, I like ginger. I love ginger." And I was like, "Okay, well, you're gonna taste a little bit of that, but it's not gonna be like heavy on the ginger."
It was very light on the ginger. I felt
this sorrel is a representation. Now, how it works is the two of us, both Greg and I, have never made sorrel before in our lives. All. We've tasted it. We've had other people's sorrel. We've had people bottle us sorrel. We've brought it to our homes. We've tasted it. We know what it's supposed to taste like technically, but never
from memory. You're like putting it back together.
Yeah, never have we ever tried to make it ourselves. So he made his version of it, and he calls this the Jamaican version of new brand sorrel.
What?
And this it is.
That's what he said?
That's what it is.
Of new brand sorrel?
That's how they say brand new in Jamaica.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So back to where we are. So you got this here. You got the new brand. So this is it right here. We tasted last week. We made our critiques. I then went, and when I was about to get my sorrel done, COVID kind of hit my family, so it was a little bit of an issue. I had all the ingredients and I was ready to get going, but what happens is both Greg and I are supposed to be doing this. You'll be able to, as Patreon users, you'll be able to see this on the Patreon.
Oh yeah, we do have a video to go up. Greg's video is up of his original how he made this. Is it up on the Patreon?
No.
Okay.
It's going to go up there.
It'll be up there.
So that's going to be on there. My pictures are going to go up on mine and what I did with mine, and a video of people tasting Greg's as well, other than Nilo and I, and their reactions to it. So you'll be able to get to see this. But then there's a competition, and there will be 4 people in the competition, 2 people who have made sorrel before, which would be Nilo and Tanya.
I think Merlin
and
also.
I think Merlin's going to get in there. So there's 3 who have made it before, and then the 2 of us who have only made our test bottles.
Now, Tanya's representing TNT. Merlin is representing Nigeria, I believe Yoruba land. And then I'm representing Guyana with my sorrel. And
these are the people who have made sorrel before.
Right. We are the OGs.
So they are the people who know how to make sorrel. So we're going to put them to the test. Greg and I did our first testers. So this bottle here that you see of Greg's right here,
we drank this last week.
This is what we drank last week, and this is just his first test, like his first batch.
Yeah, ever in life. Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Now, I have made my first batch ever in life.
Is that outside? We always have the weirdest noises in here.
So this is mine. This is my version of the sorrow. This is my version. I have it there. If you can see on the label, I just put a gold sticker label on it. I made sure that the bottle was clean and sanitized, and I bottled it there for you to see.
Greg was already wilding about your label. He was like, "Oh wow, gold label! Wow!"
So that Greg knows, and so that everybody out there in the Black Multiverse land, and all the people who are just coming across us now, this is my first time. I didn't get any help, and I didn't get any instruction from anybody. The people who I asked to help me said, "Make it first. We'll taste it and tell you what it's missing." But I never went back to them to find out what it was missing. What I did was I got all the ingredients and then followed the instructions. Followed instructions that I found out, and I went on YouTube to see if there's any type of other additional instructions to go by. And that's how I made mine from scratch. And then YouTube...
You did do taste tests along the way. Yeah. You did do, how do you say, surveys.
With who?
With the your sorrel along the way.
With like people?
You didn't give anybody your sorrel along the way?
Just you.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Nobody's tasted this.
Okay.
Just me, and you tasted it. But I only had you taste it after I finished everything. So I boiled it up. I know where I went wrong with my sorrel, but I'm not going to talk about where
I am.
I'm not going to talk about it. She can talk about what she wants. That's fine. But I'm not going to talk about where. I don't need any disclaimers. I made mine just like how Greg made his.
For the first time.
And it's for the first time. So you get to taste it and figure it out. So I'm going to pour a glass here of the sorrel.
So here's this sorrel. Now, what are we saying about color? We'll see when we go into the cups. Now, this is not an official version, and neither is Greg. So these aren't official judges. This is just talking stuff. This is mess talking.
Right now, this is
like slushy.
This is not our thing. So I put mine in this morning to get it cold,
ice cold,
because it was left out to brew. I wanted it ice cold, so I put it in the freezer for a little bit, and then I let it thaw out. So it's now more of a slurping.
It is freezing cold,
but it's nice and cold. So this is it.
Okay. Now we're looking at the color. Oh, Tanya says she needs a side-by-side of Greg's and this one.
Okay. Here's the side-by-side of Greg's.
Oh, you can't really see the color difference here on the vids.
You can't?
No. We should have shined a light through the back of it or something.
We did last time.
That's what we did last time.
Get the light up. You can see it but the light is shining towards us. That's why you can see it.
Here we go. Here's what we're talking about.
Here's Greg's.
Here's Nigel. This is Nigel's here. All right.
So mine.
Greg said nice red.
Okay.
Now I happen to know that Nigel did let his steep over the course of multiple days to achieve this nice red.
No.
You did not?
That's not what happened.
Okay. Go ahead.
So what ended up happening was it's what I found out is to get the nice red, it doesn't happen it's not about the steepness of the amount of days. It's how much water to sorrel ratio you put in the pot to boil. So if you put too much water,
okay,
it's pink. If you put less water, it's redder. So after the very first day, I had only had it in for, about you can just hear your mouth smacking.
It has legs. Like if you look at it, like this thing has legs. You put liquor in here.
So anyways, So, as I'm describing this,
Did you see?
when I got this thing in, I put it in my pot and I'm boiling everything, and I put my ingredients on it. And the ingredients you will be able to find on the Patreon as well.
We have Greg's up there, and then we will have Nigel's up there.
Right. So you'll be able to see what I put inside mine. And so as it's boiling, I'm making sure not to overfill it with water at the beginning. So you make sure that, and that's how you get this rich red looking.
So let me ask you, now you did add alcohol in here. Did you like make sure that it was like, how do you say, like more concentrated before you added the alcohol?
Well, yeah. So what I did was I made the sorrel, because the video that I watched on YouTube, the woman who made the video made a non-alcoholic sorrel, because she said she had children there that didn't, that wasn't going to do it. So she didn't put how much ratio of alcohol to put inside there because she wasn't doing that with her sorrel. So I made the sorrel exactly how I thought it should be made. And then after I let it sit for a few days, I strained it into a jug, like a milk jug, and then I put the flowers from the sorrel back in to the water, and I let that stay for a few days.
New flowers?
No, the same flowers.
The same flowers.
Same boiled flowers. So then I kept those in there, and then then afterwards, I went to put the liquor in there.
Look at my legs. I can't get over that. Greg, Greg used Ray, was it? And wine.
He used Ray and Nephew and Red Label wine. So mine,
it's strong with a K.
And
oh, Greg, what kind of sugar did you use? So if it was brown sugar or white sugar. But yeah, this is good. It was strong.
So what ended up happening was, so I decided I'm gonna do it all Trinidad. So I found out that Greg was making fun of me and said, well, what kind of rum, does Trinidad have anyways? What kind of rum they be having? It's Appleton rum we have in Jamaica and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay.
He said all that?
And Ray and Nephew. So I said, okay. So I looked up what rum, and Kraken rum is actually brewed in Trinidad and then bottled in Indiana.
Really?
So, yeah. Kraken spice rum.
I didn't know.
So I ended up buying Kraken spice rum, put it inside there, and when I put that in there, it was strong, like immediately changed the taste a bit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put something else in there. It wasn't strong, it just changed the taste a bit. So I wanted to put something else in there to give it a little bit more kick. And so I went, and that's when I added absinthe, 55 proof,
yes, folks.
overproof.
Absinthe he put inside of this sorrel. I said, why you go all the way over there with that liquor? Like, I don't know why this man went all the way to the UK. Like, that is not our people's stuff. What?
So I put some in there, and it changed the entire taste of the Zora.
Folks, the absinthe colonized the entire drink.
It and I didn't put that much in. I literally
and it took over. I didn't even drink it with the absinthe.
Like less than a shot in a big thing. I was like, blips, and it was like,
I was like, I'm this now.
It was like, this is mine, and I was like, it's all black licorice, and I'm like, what's going on? What happened to my sorrel? And so what I ended up having to do is put everything back into the pot, back into a pot, all of it, sorrel leaves, all my ingredients, every single ingredient I put in originally, put it back into the pot. And then put in some more bitters in there to kind of take out some of the bitter taste that comes from the alcohol. And then re-boil it back again to bring it back to where it could be, where it was, that it tastes very similar to what I had before. And it kind of boiled out the absinthe out. and then I was able to put back in what I wanted as it was cooling. I put back in a little bit more Kraken, and then kind of got it back to
the good thing about the absinthe is it has that black licorice is fennel. So because it has that strong taste in it, it can be blended with those other spices. It can definitely be blended. Are you counting that as your scroll, or are we gonna start the scroll now?
No, we're gonna start the scroll, but we wanted to start the scroll with a drink.
Okay.
So yeah, that basically
what's going on.
That's what's going
with
on
the sorrel.
With the sorrel.
So you guys can check out the sorrel article in the next Melanistic magazine, which will be out at your favorite small businesses on Saturday. You'll be able to catch it online on Friday, and if you're a Patreon member, then you have, it's up there. Greg, the verdict is it burns in my chest. It's sweet in the front. You used brown sugar?
Yes, I used natural brown sugar.
Yeah, so you can definitely taste the body of the brown sugar on there. And I think because of the absinthe, you taste a lot more of the anise and the other flavors in there. So it's a good first time. I think that absinthe move was like, boy, what you doing? But it's learning.
That was my I think my fatal mistake. If I just stuck with the Kraken, it would have been good. It would have been stellar.
I know people who put vodka in sorrel, which I find also weird.
This is still okay. It's still good. It's just
that absinthe aftertaste it does have though in the back. In order to not taste the absinthe, you just have to keep drinking it.
Exactly.
Literally.
So it just still has that black licorice-y thing.
The little.
So this is my first try. Even the bottle.
It's very fragrant.
I will have another bottle for the competition. So the competition will take place. There will be different color cups. There will be green and blue and purple, and everybody will have a different color cup. You'll get to pour it into the cup, and the cup will go out to the people who are testing. They won't know whose is wazoo's. And so there'll be a little bit of coffee grounds to put into a cup, so when you smell it will cleanse the palate, and you'll be able to test, swoosh it around, do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing that.
It is the plan.
So it'll be great.
Okay.
I believe Robert has also said that he'll be part of this.
Oh yeah.
Testing.
Oh yeah.
As a tester.
Also, Janelle was like, I'm testing, right? And I'm like, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, so we got, if you're a tester, you'll be out for this. It'll be live.
We can. I know a place to get them, to get like the drink containers and just put A, B, C, D, and everybody who's a tester just gets 6 A, B, C, D bottles or whatever, bottles of sorrel.
Okay. And
then they just have to vote for the number.
Okay, it sounds a little more complex than just the colored cups. You want to go there?
Because we're going to have people together in the same place? I was thinking about how we did this social distantly at everybody's houses.
How are you going to do it? You're going to take this to people's house?
No, anyway, whatever, it's fine.
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the scroll. There's a lot of things going on this week.
Yeah.
Has gone on. So congratulations to Kamala Harris and the president-elect Joe Biden. Donald Trump is... So when they haven't conceded yet, obviously, but they needed someplace to have a press conference. So they had it at this place called like Total Landscaping in New Jersey. Have you seen this? Mm-mm. So it's like some weird like parking lot of Total Landscaping, and it's between like an adult store and like some other like sketchy thing on the other side, right?
Okay.
So they're out there, and it's really like I promise you, it looks like the end of a movie, like the final scene.
Who is they?
Giuliani's there and a bunch of Trump guys.
Okay.
So they're out there. They're having this thing talking about election fraud or whatever they're going on with now, right? A crematorium. Thank you, Greg. It's between a adult store and a crematorium, right?
Nice.
Anyway, the more important part of the story is that somebody went ahead in the world of furries and designed it and then had like a big meetup there. So in the furry universe, you can now go and you can stand at the Trump podium. So there's like all these furries digitally walking around in this this total landscaping parking lot, which I thought was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And also Donald Trump is, I guess, kicking and screaming. Everybody, I guess, is trying to shred as much as they can shred at this point. Maybe. He's decided that he's going to hold off. And then he gave, Bill Barr told the Secretary of State or whomever to start investigating voter fraud. And the guy who's supposed to do it, the Secretary General or whatever, was just like, yo, I quit because this is done now. So that man walked off his job. And then if you guys are more consuming more conservative news and have found out that there was someone who on their TikTok was talking about voter fraud in Pennsylvania. And it had gotten picked up and it circulated big time. And then this was the thing that they were citing as like their proof, because this is the only thing that was close to proof that they had. And my man's came out just this afternoon and was like, oh, by the way, I was lying.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens next, I guess.
It is quite interesting because there's a lot of speculation on the red team. Yeah. As far as what the blue team has been doing. Yeah. A lot of people came out. Nevada is still
counting votes?
No, I think they finished their vote count.
Oh, they did. They came in for Biden?
Yeah, they came in blue. Pennsylvania. Was it Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania came in for Biden.
Which
I don't know why they thought Pennsylvania would have been red, because Pennsylvania is Biden's state. It's his home state. Like, people almost never lose their home state.
And then the others are still being counted. Like, people are still counting in Alaska.
Georgia has to recount because it's like within, it's less than 0.5%. It's within a 0.2% margin. So Georgia's recounting. So
they're recounting. They're going to start all over again. And do another count.
Georgia has to have a runoff. So all these things are happening. It was definitely, there's people in the States like partying in the streets.
There's quite a bit. There's There's one broadcaster that was sitting there, and the people were gathered around the newscaster, and they just started saying F Trump, like they were just chanting it on CNN. And it was like, you know what, CNN, you probably should bleep some of that out. I'm just saying. The other thing is, there was another one where the newscaster, there's a Trump supporter, and he comes up behind this newscaster. He says, "So is this like fake news or something?" Is an older man, and the guy turned around. And he said, "You know what? F you." And F
the newscaster,
and they turned back.
Sick of these people.
Like in the middle of the broadcast, though, like he had talked already. He started talking, and then he turned around. I was like,
yo, get TF out of here right now.
Let's just not. Okay, let's not go overboard. We also have some great things that have happened. Oh, also Saturday Night Live.
Dave Chappelle skit.
There's a Dave Chappelle skit that came out on Saturday Night Live. He had a way about what he was talking about. I personally don't care either way how Dave Chappelle sees the world. He's just a celebrity who has a platform, and they give him the platform. Sometimes he talks things that I agree with. Sometimes he doesn't. So this time around, he was trying to tell everybody, you know what, you should support black people. And he tried to make a joke about how we should support black people. But then he was also saying, you know what, police officers, I feel you. You know, getting jilted because I felt this every day. You know, white people, I feel you because you feel like somebody has robbed you of something. And I feel this every day and stuff like that. So he had his monologue. Mm-hmm. So It was okay. It was just a monologue. He did skits throughout the day, so he didn't weigh it down too much. He just came in with his skits and was funny in his skits, but his monologue was just okay.
Oops. I couldn't find it, but the Edmonton Public Library was shading.
But there's one more thing for Saturday Night Live.
Oh, what?
Jim Carrey and why do I not remember her name right now? They were on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, frick,
they played Joe Biden and they played Kamala. Yeah. And she came on, they played Kamala Harris. And they're like, we're not going to gloat, but we want to play this one song. And they're like, you's about to lose your job. They started playing it. They both started dancing.
Come get this dance.
So that was funny. That was hilarious. But go on.
Yeah, so the Edmonton Public Library, I'm like desperately trying to find this freaking post.
Viral.
The Edmonton Public Library has gone viral. I've seen this post.
Wow.
In many people's pages talking about anyway, there's a picture of a guy golfing from the back, and they're pretty much talking about being really good at your job but losing it. Here it is. Thank goodness. They said, were you tremendous, better than anyone else, and quite frankly the best in the world at your previous job, but after making it great again are looking for new opportunities? Here's some recommendations on coping with loss and improving your golf game and more. So let us look at the book listing here, because it is a legitimate list of books.
So what they do is they do this funny excerpt.
It's a staff created list,
and then they show you what books you could go for.
And this list is called the Make Yourself Great Again list. So on there is Riding Strong. It can be hard to move on from a loss. Brene Brown shares tips on how to overcome what happened in your past.
Actually, it's Rising Strong.
Rising Strong.
Not to be confused with the other book, Riding Strong. Go ahead.
I totally read that wrong. Sorry.
Go ahead.
10 arguments for deleting your social media accounts right now. Also, Pennsylvania curiosities.
There you go.
Quirky characters, roadside oddities, and other offbeat stuff. The United States of Paranoia. A conspiracy theory. There's one called Spectacular Hair.
Ooh.
A step-by-step guide to 46 gorgeous hairstyles.
I like it.
How about golf? Play golf digest way. Hone your game from green to tea.
That's it.
How about a book on moving? Moving from a house to house can be very stressful.
Red house, white house.
This is strategies on how to move.
Yeah.
Be your own boss.
You're fired. Back to The Apprentice with you.
Yeah, you got to work for yourself again.
See what happens.
Budgeting smarts, because that $300 million is due. One of my favorites, setting boundaries with your adult children, which is one that definitely is needed. Definitely. And then the number one book, Joe Biden.
You get to find out what he's about.
It's never too late to reach your goals. So that was good job, Edmonton Public Library. Good job, Edmonton Public Library.
Good job.
I have definitely seen that post many places.
Nice.
All over the world, actually. South Africa, even.
Yeah. Edmonton Public Library, making it viral.
Nice. I'm like, I live in this place. I'm like, dude, I wonder if we know this person who did this.
It's hilarious. We have some things that have happened.
What's going on?
Throughout the world. Mm-hmm. First of all, some positive things. A black single father in Florida adopts 5 children that are siblings. He didn't want to separate them, and he's single.
Were there his family's children? Like, was his sister's kids or something?
I don't know.
No, we just kept scrolling past that. I saw it as well.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Were they his kids?
I don't know, man. I
No.
scrolled past it.
Well, he was very different looking than them, so I don't know.
Yeah, he did look differently than me.
But I think because they're not his family, I think that's why
It was cool.
Yeah, that it's amazing. He didn't want to separate them, and they're very happy to have.
I feel like in another life I could have foster kids.
Okay.
In another life.
Okay.
Yeah.
In another life, I'm an astronaut for sure.
The no air thing actually really
I love it.
scares me.
This is not that scary for me.
Also, the immense size of space. Space.
That's a little bit scary.
I bet the feeling of my brain shifting to like makes me feel funny to think about.
The feeling of your brain shifting?
Yeah.
Is that what happens in space?
That's what happens when you have any new experience where you're like completely in a place that you've never experienced your spatial difference in regards to what's around you.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer suggests that EBT cards
She needs to be quiet and eat her
only
food.
get healthy foods. Should only be used to get healthy foods. EBT cards are what we used to call food stamps.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, we called food stamps, and they give people in the United States, for those people who live in the United States and that know what I'm talking about.
In Canada, y'all call it a food subsidy.
Food subsidy, yeah.
Yeah, it happens. It's here too.
It's for people who are less fortunate, maybe, and may not have
insecure.
They're food insecure or food deprived sometimes, and they have low money, low income.
But somehow Kiki Palmer's laying up in her big ass bed in her big ass mansion, thinking about money she's not spending.
And she's thinking about the EBT cards, because the EBT cards you could use to buy anything
at the grocery store.
At the grocery store, in fact,
and other places. Yeah.
But most people go for things that are cost effective.
Correct.
That will fill your belly for the cheapest, and those things aren't necessarily the healthiest food.
Right.
As we know from last year when I did the vegetarian thing for 30 days, I did vegetarian for 30 days, and I found out the number one thing is that fast food is ready and available all the time, and it's cheap
all the time.
And having a salad requires time, because you have to make the salad, and buying a salad every day
is expensive.
Can be more expensive than fast food.
And vegetables go bad.
And then when you eat these vegetables, you're not full.
You might be full. You have to eat more.
You have to eat a ton of vegetables to feel full, but you eat one burger and fries, and you're like, ugh.
And if you're feeding many people on your EBT card or your food stamps,
yes, it can be a problem.
Right.
So she's like, well, I think it should only be for healthy food. Well, then a lot of people, yes, would be healthier.
But also, okay, then food stamps is not really a subsidy for the person, right? It's really a subsidy really for the food companies. Like, it's really this mass agriculture situation, and that's the next thing I was gonna say, Caitlin, also. But in this mass agriculture situation, food stamps are a way to be able to subsidize those big food industries.
Right.
So that's first and foremost. And per Caitlin, healthy on whose terms? Like, what do you mean by healthy? You mean all vegan stuff? You mean all vegetarian stuff? You mean, is meat healthy? Which meats are healthy? Which meats aren't healthy? Like, who is the one who goes ahead and is allowed to decide this for poor people?
Hi, Auntie Jocelyn. Yeah, so...
Like, how do you make that decision?
And it's one of those things where you're like, it's true. It's a case-by-case basis. Some people are healthier than others. Some people would like, after eating a bunch of salad, to have a cheat day or do something that is not necessarily the healthiest. And some people, like me, when I was like in my early 20s, like, you eat 6 Big Macs and not gain a pound of weight. It just, my metabolism burned through it.
I think
it's like whatever.
I think it's about having the opportunity to choose your food and who gets to choose your food for you. Like a lot of the places that we're talking about are food deserts. Like in the hood, they had to have a whole food cart. How do you say, like, program in order to get fresh fruits and vegetables into the places where people use EBT cards.
True.
And to be able to have carts. And what they did was they made fruits and vegetables available to the salesperson. So once you have a permit for one of these carts, then you are able to procure fruits and vegetables at a lower cost to then be able to sell them to the public, and then also be able to provide them in the hood. So then maybe you could get 3 bananas for $1 now, or a bunch of apples and oranges. And so when those things were made available to folks, they chose them. If we're strictly talking about fruits and vegetables here, but really what, like, the core of it, the thing is here is this, first of all, patriarchy, and this assumption that there's some class and classism, that there's some class of people who gets to make decisions for this other class of people who, by this model, are in that position because they made bad decisions, and not, which is the fact of the matter, the reality, that folks are in positions because we're living in a system that is hoarding of wealth, that is parasitic on the working class, that is capitalistic without thinking about how we take care of each other, how we take care of the community, and is based on like these puritanical ideas and ideologies.
Yep. So that's Kiki Palmer with her take on the
I heard somebody on my wall was like, she needed to be quiet and eat her food instead of worrying about other people's. Be quiet and eat your food.
It's funny because Kiki Palmer has been very open about many topics and has a voice and a platform like a lot of people, like Dave Chappelle, like all these celebrities. They just have a platform and they say what they want to say.
Wake up and say it.
And they say it in a public format, and a lot of people listen to it because they like that person's craft of what they've done. She's an actress, and she's, all right as an actress. And she's also a musician. She's one of the first ladies at her age that I know that has their own recording studio that she's the head of and the president of it, and she produces the music. So she's got respected a lot of aspects like that. And the same thing with Dave Chappelle. They were able to come through and just talk. So when they talk, people listen, some people follow, and then there's some people who look at it and they're like, listen, you don't know what you're talking about. Relax. Chill out.
On this issue.
Speaking of celebrities, Blue Ivy Carter is
my fave.
Set. That is the
boss,
love child, and the
boss of Beyonce's
the
life.
action child of Beyonce and Jay-Z. She also is their CEO and president of their entire family. She tells them what to do and when to do it.
Executive producer of the Savage remix.
Yes, she is. And she went in and she now got a job voicing the characters in Hair Love, which is a short that has been blowing up. It is a book that a young gentleman made.
Matthew Cherry, I think is his name.
About young black girls' hair, and it's awesome, and it's a great thing that he came up with, and the point of view that he came up with it. I've had a huge problem in the past, me personally, with a lot of people thinking that as a black father, you can't do certain things with your children. You can't do their hair, or you can't do it as well as this person, and it's true. A lot of us do not have the amount of practice doing hair that other female or mothers or other people have, but that doesn't negate the whole aspect of guys who take the time to learn and figure it out and do a good job.
Y'all's parents didn't let you play with dolls.
It's one of those things, right? But when I have my girls, I wanted to pick my girls' hair out and send them to church with a nice big puffy afro. I love having it nice and big and puffy. A a lot of people are like, why would you do that to their hair? Why would you do that? People always do that with their natural hair, and I'm like, it's their hair. This is their hair. They're awesome. They're cute with it. So
their faces probably look so tiny.
Yeah, they have these little faces, and their hair's like poop, and they're so cute. So that's how my girls were. So watching this, I love it, and it also reminds me of Aphrodisiac's own, that girl you should know's own, Harriet's humongous hair, and Harriet too, and it is very similar in concept, but a completely different story. So these two stories that Nilo has created are awesome versions of what happens to black girls as well. He's put in one from a perspective of a single father or a father trying to help, and this one's one of what this little girl's experiences in these circumstances, what she's going through in the first one and what she's going through in the second one. So I think it's a bomb, and we are gonna we'll push to see if we can get that into a short as well. Hip hip hooray for Harriet too.
Sure. Hip hip hooray. I'm looking forward. You guys will see more on that. It will be available November 29th at the Aphrodisiac Market.
And that concludes
the scroll. Moving on really quickly to the screen. What are you watching?
Oh boy, what am I watching? I did watch One Piece. That's Japan again. It got a little bit weird. In some of it, one of the characters, he picks his nose and flicks it at you, and then it blows up. It explodes.
Okay.
So it's weird.
It's something.
He's the only black guy also on the show. So I'm like, okay. That I've seen. I'm like, okay, buddy. It's cool. And I've also started delving into Discovery, the Star Trek Discovery season 3. So that's going well. And episode 2 I will watch of The Mandalorian. Star Wars Mandalorian.
Is it 2? It might be 2 and 3 up now.
Maybe, yeah. What have you been listening to?
Okay, I personally have been watching, because we're still on the screen for this part, these bizarre documentaries, 2 of them, specifically about this, trigger warning, I'll take a minute. Okay, it's about this cult in upstate New York, in Albany, and also apparently also in Mexico. And this guy who made this multi-level marketing scheme, and then through this multi-level marketing scheme coerced people into being his sex slaves and having a sex slave pyramid scheme of its own. So that was weird. So I watched two versions of the story. One was called The Vow. The other was called Seduced. One is from the perspective of some of the upper echelon folks, which I had to turn off like halfway through. That one's on HBO. I had to turn it off like halfway through because I'm like, I feel like they're glazing over so much. I feel like there's stuff going on and they're like coming close to saying it, but they're not saying certain things. They're completely leaving out other things. Like, and then in Seduce, we find out certain things, like he brought these 2 young women from Mexico, and one was 15 years old. The Vow.
Okay.
One was 15 years old, and he got one of them pregnant and then told them that they had to go get abortions. And then one of them said that she had feelings for somebody. And as a penance, they locked her in this bedroom in the house for 2 years. And she was just up there in the room, and people were like in and out of the house and didn't even know that there's this girl locked in the room.
In the room upstairs.
Yeah. So if you get to watch it, I think Seduced is the better one, because right away they tell you the actual egregious things that he did, and then also there's cult experts in there, and it's coming, but it also I think is to alleviate that girl, the Oxenberg girl who is telling the story in Seduced. Both of the documentaries seem like somebody with money produced them in order to alleviate themselves from a court case.
Yeah,
both of them. But one of them is more like the things that he did is more egregious.
Yeah. The first one, the producer of it, he's the guy doing the thing. He's like, yo, this is what happened, and here's the footage I have. So you watch it, and it's from his point of view, and he doesn't tell you anything that he's done wrong. He's like, I suspect
like, it seems like he doesn't know, but
he's like, I'm trying to ask him questions about what to do here, and he's answering, and he's trying to let you feel that he is part of this film. Like, all he's thinking about is making the most beautiful documentary
about
ever.
This dude, right?
And he's like, well, I could ask people questions about different things. When you watch the other one, the girl India Oxenberg, she actually is talking about him and how he's like,
he recruited her.
How he's like, don't leave. Like, why are you trying to leave? Why would you leave? Why would you do this?
Why would you go in this job?
Why would you go take a job? Why you need to stay in here with us and blah blah blah, and make her feel guilty for even trying to leave.
Like, to go do work.
Meanwhile, when you reach the closer to the end, and you find out about the FBI and how they arrested these people, she's put in as a collaborator, as one of the people who went out and got people recruited. And she's like, well, I got 2 people, and I'm so glad that they didn't have to do any of the things that she's telling you how she feels. And throughout the whole thing, she's telling you that she didn't realize this was going based off the feelings that she was having at the time.
Right.
So she didn't know this was what was going on. At some point, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that. But then there's other points that are like, really? Really?
Yeah, I feel like everybody needs to be held accountable.
I'm like, really? You didn't know this was going to happen to those people that you recruited to this thing over here?
Right.
Where they're like branding you and making you do all
and
sorts of
he
stuff.
made everybody like, it was just wild. So if you get to watch it, the Seduced one on Stars is much better than the Vowed one on HBO. What are you listening to?
I'm still on Kanye West's Jesus is King. Anytime you think of Kanye West, the what's been happening to me with everybody is I'll be just playing the music and just playing the choir singing, and the person will get in the car or the person will hear it and they'll be like, who is that? And I'll be like, it's Kanye West, and they'll be like, oh, it's Kanye.
But they like it.
But at first they're like excited to find out who it was,
right?
And then I started watching the YouTube videos is what got me first, because you see these choirs just going nuts. They're going off, and they are awesome. Each choir is dedicating time to talk about different things and to sing some of the classics and some new songs as well, and then some remakes. I stumbled across finally the one that was done in Miami, and they did a remake of SWV's Rain, and they did a whole remake of that, changed the lyrics, the gospel lyrics, which was really interesting because I used to try and do that when I was younger to a lot of songs. They also had Montel Jordan's "This Is How We Do It," and they changed it. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool how they did the different songs. So I'm all about that right now. What about you?
Because it is snowing, I'm into a lot of jazzy stuff right now. So back on Masego, back on India,
India
also
Ari?
Harlem hip hop. Yeah.
I am ready for love. Right?
Maybe. There's one called Beautiful. I think that's the one I hear. And a lot of what's her name? Solange.
Oh, Solange. Yeah.
So that's what's going on in my world.
All right.
Coming up, we kind of like covered everything coming up in the opening. But what do we have? We have November 29th is the Aphrodisiac Market.
Aphrodisiac Market.
What else you got?
November 28th. Stony Plain, Bethel Stony Plain, out in Stony Plain, will be having their a big tobogganing event. It'll be a huge sledding event for those who have the children. You want to find out more about that. We have a big tobogganing event. Stay tuned. You can see when it happens on my page. I'll be posting stuff on there on my Facebook, and maybe even a flyer on the website, on the Bethel Stony Plains website. That's on the 28th. On the 11th, there's another. Is it the 11th?
The 11th is tomorrow.
The 11th of December.
Oh, sorry.
There's another concert potential, but I will tell you more about it next week when I have more information.
Yes.
And that's it. So the 29th is going to be crazy. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be amazing. We have lots going on there, and a DJ should be present, and we'll have lots of things happening. The vendors this time around are also spectacular. If you like the vendors that were there last time, come to this one. There's more of those vendors and more. We
have vendors, we have booksellers, we have all kinds of stuff.
All types of stuff.
Okay, do you have a word? I have a word.
Go ahead.
Do you have one?
No.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So this week my word is about feelings. So oftentimes we have these feelings that happen throughout our day, throughout our lives, and we typically react. So we have the feelings and then we react to the feelings. So right now, I guess I just wanted to talk to you really quickly about getting in front of them. So having the feelings, and then instead of reacting right away, kind of doing a self-scan to figure out, ooh, I'm having this feeling. What is causing it? What's going on? Like, you know? And sometimes if you can't pin it down to something that's going on around you, it could very well be something that's going on inside of you. There's a lot of things changing, and there was something that the nurse that I was having a conversation with the other day told me, which was oftentimes, particularly women, when they have UTIs, they get really confused, and there's like this confusion, and people don't talk about how our gut bacteria, our our colon and our intestinal bacteria and all of the colonies that make us up as humans, those imbalances in those bacteria and imbalances in those hormones, all of those things can change what you're feeling, because your feeling is a feedback, and it's a feedback of what's going on outside and what's going on inside, and kind of a combination of the two. So I just want to urge everybody, when we're going in to these darker days of winter, to before we react to those feelings, kind of do a self-scan, see where we're at, and see if we don't need to like take care of ourselves or do some self-care. Sometimes I will tell people, like, no, if I work past this time, I will have a tantrum. If I don't have this day off, I will have a tantrum. And that feeling of like overwhelming, of I'm working so much and nothing's coming out of it, of frustration, all of those things can sometimes just go away if I eat a bunch of fruit, take a day off, take some time off of everybody, watch something that's kind of mind-numbing that has nothing to do with work and nothing to do with the business. So yeah, that's it. Have lots of vitamin C. Make sure you're taking your vitamin Bs. Make sure you're eating lots of dark green leafy vegetables, and check those emotions. Kind of do a self-scan and make sure you're okay before you react. That's what I got.
Awesome.
Gastrointestinal. Thanks, Darren, coming through with the words. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again for the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. We hope you have a really awesome week.
Awesome week.
And we'll see you again next week.
Next week.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.